Horror movies have been around since the beginning of cinema. Sometimes they fail to scare us. Yet, for the most part, horror movies make us feel uneasy, anxious, and fearful. But very rarely is there a film that not only scares the viewers, but the very people who make it. This was the case with the iconic horror film, The Exorcist, and the curse many people believe it manifested. In 1971, the American writer William Peter Blatty published one of the most iconic horror novels to hit bookstores, The Exorcist. In the novel, a young girl named Regan gets possessed by a powerful demon. It all begins with her personality becoming strange and violent, convincing her mother to take her to the hospital to get her tested. But after finding nothing wrong with her medically, the mother gets desperate and takes a chance with the religious. She eventually convinces two priests to perform an exorcism on her innocent girl. The novel gained so much popularity that Blatty soon worked alongside American director William Friedkin to make the film. It eventually made it to the big screen on December 26, 1973, and it was an instant success. Much like the novel, the film traumatized its viewers, causing most of them to leave in shock and even some to faint. But the viewers weren't the only ones to feel the effects of this film. Even before the film was finished, strange and malevolent occurrences haunted the cast and those on set. It began with the film taking a huge delay during its early stages, which was caused by a fire that erupted and engulfed most of the set, damaging everything in the McNeil's house. Everything but a single room. The room that was meant for Regan, the room where the exorcism takes place, was left untouched by the fire. When investigated, it was discovered that the cause of the fire was a pigeon that had flown into a circuit breaker box. The delay that followed was about 6 weeks in duration, putting tension on the deadline. Luckily, no deaths resulted from the fire, but death was ever present. Some of the cast died just after they finished their part in the film, and yet others had relatives that died at the time the film was being filmed. One of the most notable deaths was that of the Irish actor Jack McGoran, who played Bert Dennings in the film, the character that was thrown out of the window by the possessed Regan. Shortly after he finished his part in the film, Jack died at the age of 54 from influenza on January 30th, 1973. But he wasn't the only actor with this outcome. Greek actress Vasiliki Maliaros, who played Father Karras' mother in the film, died on February 9th, 1973, at the age of 89 from natural causes. But the list continues with friends and family from the crew. Linda Blair's grandparents passed away during the filming of The Exorcist. The Swedish actor Max von Sydow, who played Father Lancaster Marin in the film, had a brother who died during the filming of the movie as well. The crew also shared tragedies with the death of the security guard, the set's refrigerator technician, and an assistant cameraman's baby. From the deaths alone, it's easy to see how the set might have felt cursed. But death was only the beginning. 2 members of the cast suffered lifelong injuries from accidents that occurred while filming. In one dramatic scene, the possessed Regan launches her mother across the room. Ellen Burstyn, the actress who played the mother, suffered an injury to her tailbone from this and had to walk with crutches for some time after the accident. Even Linda Blair suffered a back injury which was caused by the bed that rocked violently in one of the scenes. Besides the main cast, a crew member lost his toe, and a carpenter accidentally cut off his thumb. The film was not only connected to death and injuries, but murder as well. In the film, after Regan began to act strange and her symptoms began to worsen, Chris McNeil tries to help her daughter by taking her to the hospital to get medically tested. The film showed the process the medical personnel had to perform to get her x-rayed. One of the doctor's assistants was Paul Bateson, who was a former radiographer and an assistant who helped Regan get ready for the x-rays. In 1979, Paul was convicted of murdering a film industry journalist, Addison Verrill. Prior to Paul's trial, there had been chain murders that targeted gay men in Manhattan, which were known as the Bag Murders. It was thought that Paul was behind these murders, but no additional charges were made against him. Paul was sentenced to 20 years in prison, and in 2003, he was released on parole. In the end, the film had been finished and was premiering around the world on December 26, 1973. At the premiere in Rome, the weather had set the mood for the moviegoers with a big storm. As the movie began, lightning struck a church across the street from the theater. As if the situation weren't ironic enough, the cross that was at the top of the tower fell to the plaza below, causing further terror to those who watched the showing that day. To this day, The Exorcist is considered one of the most terrifying horror films in cinema, and is now labeled as iconic. Most of it due to the cast that did suffer tragedies, but persisted to finish the film. But were the strange and tragic occurrences a coincidence? Or was it all part of a curse that the movie manifested?